Because they're like, glad I'm coming on.
We're back.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Live.
Day 2.
Am I good on the mic?
Yeah,
you can hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so we were just going in to the gloom and doom of downtown Edmonton. But we realize as well that it's not so much gloom and doom. It's just a different dimension, as we were talking about. But I thought it would be important for the people watching to actually build out what you are doing as a volunteer or a worker or whatever it is at a safe injection site.
Okay, I did pick up a job at a safe consumption site. This is in tandem to on my own time. In my spare time, with my own funds, I would go into Chinatown in the northeast part of the city, northeast part of downtown, and talk with people on the street, give them rides if they need rides, buy them food. You can buy like illegal cigarettes for $4 a pack, so it's not really a big deal. But I'd be out on the street. I could spend up to 4 hours, 5 hours just chilling on the corner with men and women of all ages that are homeless. But then I did get a job at a safe consumption site. So essentially that's what's like plaguing the media right now. It's a pretty divisive topic between left wing, right wing. Again, to reiterate, I don't get involved in politics at all. So I'm just coming at it from like a human perspective. Both sides are right and both sides are wrong, essentially. So basically the job detailed that I was a support worker, because inside the consumption site, it's like an unmarked building that's gated with security gates and bulletproof windows. So that just gives you the essence of the environment you're in. If your workplace has bulletproof windows, you're either at the liquor store.
Yeah, like
you're either at the liquor store or like convenience store
or like a police station.
Yeah. So like bulletproof windows, fucking cage door. People need a passcode to come into the center itself. But we also handed out free supplies, which was funded by some level of government that I don't want to disclose. So people can come, they can get 1 free glass meth bat. So that's the long stem with the bowl.
Yeah.
A straight shooter. So that's to smoke fentanyl and meth smoke if you're smoking off tin foil.
Right.
We would provide you with free foil, the free stem, condoms, cookers. So cookers are like if you're walking downtown and you see these multicolored little aluminum discs.
And the condoms aren't for fucking.
No, there's a level of prostitution that come in and they'll be like, I need a bag of 50 fucking condoms, just banana flavored. Banana flavored for some reason is the fucking shit on the street.
But is there do they use it to tie up?
No, so we provide like
So the condoms are just for sex?
They're for fucking, but they're also for hooping dope. So like hooping dope too is if you're on the street and you're gonna go to sleep and you got a pretty decent quantity of dope,
you don't want to get
robbed. You're gonna tie it. Oh, you don't want to get robbed, and you're gonna shove it up your asshole or your vagina.
Their butthole.
So that's the level of like intensity it is
to get their
people and their dope.
People probably have a understanding of who carries a lot of shit all the time, because it's
a small community.
Yeah, like
so
people are like everybody knows what's going on.
One day for like robbery amongst like that community is probably like H payday, like welfare day, where like they can go. I don't know what they're doing anymore because they just demolished the Boyle Coop, but like people have a bank account and their mailing address would be the Boyle Co-op or the Coop, and then they would go get their money because they're like. They'd go to the Coop, and then right beside it would be an ATV financial. And then, like, they would go get their check cash. So, like, on H Day, you'd see people with $100 bills sticking out their fucking pockets.
Right.
They're high. Money's falling everywhere. It's fucking nuts. And the lineup for Welfare Day is, I don't know what it's like anymore, but it was so long. They literally had food trucks, people on fucking stilts.
They, like, monetized
jugglers. It was, like... crack K-Day, ketamine K-Days. So that's the biggest day for robbery. So condoms were used essentially, for sex, like definitely, because there is a level of prostitution out there. And why would they buy condoms when the government will just give it to them for free? Which, like, I don't disagree with handing out free condoms.
Think about the consequences.
Prostitution being illegal is, my opinion, is stupid as fuck. It's literally legal in Turkey, fucking Holland, a variety of countries, even very conservative nations. So it's immature to think people don't want to have sex.
Yeah.
And like it's a currency, and it's even worse if it's illegal. It's just so like underground human trafficking. I don't know, maybe that should be looked at one day. But to go back to the consumption site, so yeah, we would hand out these free items. You could get 20 needles a day. So you could get long tips, which is for people that can find their veins easy. But for the older crowd, they would need long tips. So essentially you can get 40 needles a day, right?
Right.
So aside from handing out, and there was literally like a steel cage.
So
and
how
they
big
like
is this
they
place?
ring the doorbell and they're like, I need a bat, I need 20 longs, I need condoms, and I need a band to tie off. And you're just like, okay, what's your birthday? What's your ethnicity? They want to know your ethnicity, your birthday. Give a fake fucking name, age, whatever. And then we're like passing this lunch bag. It's like a brown paper bag,
Right.
through a crack this big.
Yeah.
Some people are like in psychosis. They're like spitting on
Right.
you.
Right.
Maybe they broke their shit. They
Mhm.
dropped their glass pipe, and they're like, "Yo," and you're like, "I can't."
Yeah.
And then they're like fucking all
Freak out.
irate.
How big is
But-
this place? What
So
does
let's
this
just say
look
your
like?
average 7-Eleven. Let's say it'd be your average convenience store size, but like it's
a very small spot.
the public area is the parking lot.
Oh, and you gotta get
Yeah.
like buzz.
So they got to buzz in. So then aside from
And then
handing out, this is like my job. We have paramedics and nurses, RNs and LPNs in the back, in the booths. And then one security guard, and then 2 support staff, right? Everyone's in civvies, everyone's in civilian clothing, except the security. They would come in. My job's to be like, just chit chat, get their information while handing out free pipes at the same time and free needles. They have 30 minutes to do their injection, where they can inject cocaine, crystal meth, fentanyl. There's no heroin anymore. They can melt down Dilaudid pills, and they can melt down like benzodiazepines. But usually people mix benzos with their fentanyl. So they have 30 minutes to inject. There's a series of booths with timers. And then there's 2 medical staff in the back. So essentially it's come in and get out. Like you do get to know the people using the site. And like you got like inside jokes, and you're giving them food. Oh, buddy died. Oh, this happened. Oh, I got a housing. I got this. So you're forming pretty good relationships with people, especially as I mentioned earlier, like that older crowd of like your 45-year-old plus that are like, these guys are like the pro users. Like these guys and girls wouldn't use on the LRT in front of children.
Right.
Like that's the cops would just beat them up.
Yeah, they just have.
This is why I don't really agree with closing safe injection sites. They just need to be revamped, and they need more responsibility and like a better umbrella than a not-for-profit agency. Because these older like guys and girls, they want to use in there so they don't get robbed. They're not allowed to use in their home. But they're like, I'm not using on the fucking street. I'm gonna get robbed. I'm fucking 68 years old, and like some of these guys have jobs and like families, so like it's a good spot for those people that deserve it. But there's a whole other element of clientele that don't deserve it. There was an instance where one of the younger guys filled up his syringe with his own blood and then put it towards the nursing staff. And they were like backed into a corner. So then I came in with my good friend, and what happened? Next thing he was outside.
Yeah, he was just outside.
Yeah, but you're filling, like, we're giving you a service with healthcare staff. And you're threatening them with your own blood. I don't know if you have HIV or Hep.
And you would think the reason
you're getting better treatment than a senior citizen.
Yeah.
Like you're getting better treatment than veterans, ex-police officers. Like that's your reaction. So it's a very, whereas the older demographics, very like polite. They're like, oh, like God bless you. Like I hope you guys have a lovely day. Thank you for everything you do. And then this new gen that's been used to what they need to take responsibility, but they will do what they're allowed to do. So if there's like a high degree of tolerance of people injecting on the LRT and being in public like this, they're gonna act like that. They have mental health problems. They have addiction. They're antisocial disorders. So it's
What do you
that's
expect?
their behavior.
What
Yeah.
do you expect?
So it's like when you're providing a service and they're holding a blood-filled syringe at nurses.
And until you address that,
And then when you put them in the parking lot with force, the management of these agencies is, why couldn't you talk him down?
yeah.
And it's, what do you want me to fucking Zoom call him from the next room?
Yeah.
Like, no, like,
No,
dude,
like,
this
I
guy's,
have to
yeah,
do
get the
something
fuck
now.
out of here.
Yeah.
And that's like the disconnect, which is more of like a left wing. This is
Right.
why I don't like both sides, because some left wing neo Marxist fucking chick is, oh, you couldn't talk him down with interpersonal skills. And it's no. It's like he's got
this
a
guy's
fucking
yeah.
blood-filled syringe.
Yeah.
Me and the guy that did that, we're cool now. Because like for days after, he used to come outside and be like, where the fuck am I? So then eventually I just had to go outside and be like, what? Like,
and then nothing
maybe
happened.
there's a weapon on me, maybe there's not, we don't know. But I'm just like, what? What do you want to fuck do? You're acting like a goof. That's when you really got to lower your vernacular and talk to them like how they talk.
Yeah.
You can't be like, my policy. No, you got to be like, what's your fucking problem, you fucking goof? And then if people are onlooking too, and there's like gangbangers, you'd be like, oh, you mean when you held up the nurses with the bloody syringe?
Yeah.
And then you got some like red alert dudes. They're like, what the fuck did you do? Like, this is where we sell dope. Why are you heating it up? So then you like put it on him.
Right.
And then he's got no other choice but to be like, okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I was tweaking out. Those are like different de-escalation techniques. And unfortunately, violence is the only language some fucking people understand. Not saying anything violent happened.
But no, even in the way you have to talk to certain people, because like they're just not going to get where you're coming from, or whatever you're saying really doesn't have any weight. They just don't understand what you're saying.
And they know that these guys and girls have been to like prisons, group homes, rehab centers, treatment centers, healing lodges. They teach you to like reiterate what they're saying and then pose a question during that. Be like, well, it seems to me you're feeling like this because of this, correct? And it's like, they fucking know. Like, as soon as you start that sentence, they're like, oh, here we go. The fucking,
it's the guy,
Freudian fucking therapy session. So, like, they'll either walk away or they'll fucking get, like, aggressive, right? So it's like, in my time, I've learned to just be like, because they're automatically going to think anyone working in a not-for-profit or a shelter is, like, some fucking pushover liberal. No offense to liberals, but, like, they're going to think you're some fucking liberal fuck. And then they meet a staff, and I'm not saying I was the only one. Like, there's some people that work out there that are like really fucking good at it.
Yeah.
And I have all these people behind my back, whether they're like affiliated with a certain organization. But it's what are you gonna do now? Yeah. So that's the whole thing with the injection site. So like these people come in, and we can't say no. Like we couldn't say no to anyone. So pregnant, they're coming in. It did stop at under 18. Yeah. But they can just be like, oh, I'm not coming in. I'll just get 2 needles and a meth pipe, and then they just inject in the alley. So you're
doesn't really solve the problem.
Because they know if they overdose, you're outside. Because like we were responding to overdoses inside and outside.
But now it's just what, inside? Or
if someone's overdosing on the block, you're going. Oh. Because the community members know. They're like, boom, they're like, someone's ODing at the fucking Hope, and it's across the street, and you're there. And if you don't go, they're gonna fucking smash up your car. They're gonna fucking do whatever, right? If you deny a 14-year-old girl, she's just gonna inject her dope. She's like, I can't come inside. Oops, I can't come inside. I'm gonna go
over there and do it
outside on the stairs and inject. So, for instance, there was a young girl who I don't know what the fuck happened to her, man. I don't know if she was in a vegetative state, but it was me and another nursing staff, great lady. She came to get rigs, like needles. And I was like, I'm a dad, so I'm here. Yeah. Because you're just going to get it off somebody anyway. Yeah. So it was nighttime. So we didn't really see her. We're busy with other shit. So she was in a group of about 5 people. When I went outside, she was like blue. The nurse put a SpO2 monitor on her. Her oxygen level's like hella low. She's pretty much like dead, right? So paramedics were called, et cetera, et cetera. She, like, when the paramedics got her onto the stretcher, she's alive, but I think she's vegetative. But the darkest thing of the whole thing, and I gave her needles. Fuck. But that's like kind of a story I won't forget because I gave her those. I think she was in a vegetative state, honestly. But before she went on the stretcher, the craziest fucking thing was like the group of people she was doing dope with, fentanyl. They were like, "Oh, is she dead?" And I was like, "Yeah, basically."
Yeah.
And as soon as the paramedics were there in the parking lot too, she's gone, whether she's ICU or what or DOA. They start taking her clothes off. They take her backpack off of her. They're taking her fucking boots off. They're going through her fucking pockets and they're ripping off her sweater, like essentially ripping it off probably a corpse. And she's under 18. So that kind of shows the level of cold-heartedness out there and irrational decision making and just a lack of empathy. But that group of people, that's not a judgment of everybody on the street. Those are just fucking shitty people.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not it was an accidental overdose or something they call hot capping. I don't know if you know what hot capping is.
No.
Yeah.
And then I was going to go into but no. Yeah, you were saying that when we were getting set up and you were like, yeah, let's like talk about hot capping. And I was like, I know a lot of shit. But I was like, I don't fucking know what the fuck hot capping is. Please enlighten me.
So hot capping's definitely a criminal underground tactic. There's been some pretty legendary criminal characters in the city taken out with hot capping.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've seen on the street is instead of shooting somebody or stabbing them, you give them a line of coke. Or the biggest one on the street is you'll put fentanyl in their meth pipe and bury it under crystal. And you'll be like, here, buddy, have a hit. And they're like token hard on meth. Because you don't want to hit fentanyl hard. Like, you don't want to be hitting fentanyl super hard. Like a bong hit.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal meth, sure, haul on that fucking glass pipe. So you're hitting the pipe, but there's fentanyl in it.
Yeah.
So then, most people die pretty quick. But when we would go out there as a team, when I worked at the consumption site, we'd be Narcan.
Mm-hmm.
And then like my friend like would be like young girl, smart as fuck, tough as nails. She's like Narcanning him. She's a medical professional, so she's doing all the science.
Yeah.
And then some like dude wearing all fucking red comes up and like starts shoving her. And just let him be, let him chill, like he's fine, like he's just fucking high. You're gonna kill his high. And then I'm like, what the fuck out of here? Yeah. Do what you gotta do. That guy lived. But we kept seeing it over and over again. Like, right. How come when we're doing Narcan and reversing overdoses, we're getting attacked? What the fuck?
Yeah.
So then when you start talking to community members, oh man, you're breaking up someone's hot cap. Some opposing gang or some guy is owed money.
It's like you have like assassination.
And then we come in with our medical bags.
And they're like, no,
and we're like, everybody back the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then they're like throwing swings at us. There was a nurse that had a hatchet thrown at her head.
Yeah, because they're like, let the guy die.
Like, let him fucking die, man.
Yeah,
so like you're getting in the way of a hit, like a street hit. Hot capping's big. I know stories of guys that they get released from an institution and they get a big celebration. Here's a line of coke, or even in your pint. So 2 fucking sexy girls bring this guy out. He's passed away, but they bring him out. Celebrate. You're done your federal time. They drop fucking fentanyl wrapped in toilet paper in his pint. Chugs it, dies on the floor. And then people are, oh, I didn't know he was an opioid user. I guess he overdosed. And then the body's gone. So it's hot capping it's like fatal date rape. It's not to make date rape sound like less, that shit's fucking trash, that's just terrible, but it's fatal.
Essentially, it's like a new type of poison.
Yeah, it's a new way to get rid of your op.
Yeah, your enemies.
They stay on the street. Opposition.
If you don't
like people shot for sure and stabbed, but like it's definitely like a thing amongst like a lower echelon of criminal.
It's probably like a cleaner way too.
Yeah, and you're not really
you don't gotta deal with weapons.
The difference between doing a shooting, from what I understand, and a hot cap is like when you're hot capping someone with fentanyl, you're just trying to get rid of them. Whereas like a stabbing and a shooting on the street is like a message.
Prove a point.
Dude, we shot that guy's fucking townhouse like 40 fucking times.
Yeah. It's more of like
this guy owes money, we're sick of his shit.
And
like,
he's just a nobody. And it's,
no, there's been some.
But it's when something like that happens, there's no one to blame either, because you're like, oh, this guy just smoked too much fat.
Yeah.
Like,
What's
and
the
then everybody looks around.
What's the
Well, that's
mortician gonna say, or the medical examiner?
They can't say
Yeah, he
this
overdosed.
guy forced this dude to smoke meth. So it's just
So like you get rid of your foes with a tiny amount of fentanyl that's not that expensive, and problem solved. So that's why there's a like the city of Edmonton was recommending people carry Narcan kits, which you can get for free at any farm. And they're telling people, like, if you're walking downtown and you see someone in an emergency overdosing, Narcan them. But it's like, you guys have to realize, like, you might be getting attacked. Like, you might be getting in the middle of a assassination. It's like, you want these secretaries and business folk and like old ladies to be like Narcanning somebody on the street.
Yeah,
it's like
it's dangerous.
You're setting up your own tax-paying population.
Yeah.
And then another thing too, sometimes when you reverse an overdose, some of them can go into automatic psychosis. So you reverse an OD and you're like looking at guy or girl and you're like, most people are like, yo, thanks, dude.
Yeah, you saved my life.
Best high ever.
Thanks for
saving my ass.
Yeah.
Sometimes they wake up and they'll just grab at your throat and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? I think it's like a flight or fight response.
Yeah, fight or flight.
Like firemen and paramedics and staff.
So you're like coming back from consciousness. You probably don't know where you're at.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Some people are probably like, I'm in heaven.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, did I die?
So apparently that high on opioids before you OD and possibly die is like really good. So there's a thing on the street where if somebody's like ODing, if there's like a bunch of ODs, and sometimes there'd be 8 people overdosing at the same time.
Yeah.
So you're running with 4 staff, like Ace Ventura, like you're loading up Narcan, dart, run to the next fucking guy, dart, you accidentally hit a guy that's not ODing, and he's like, what the fuck? So it's like you're running there. So like, the thing is like, there's a thing on the street where it's like, all these people come to from being Narcan. Did you buy it off that guy, the Somali guy, the fucking white power guy? Who'd you buy it off? Because I want that shit. So that's like it's a level of like insanity to it, man. That's thrill seeking to the next level.
Edging death.
Yeah, flatliners.
Oh,
flatliners. The older people will know.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, man. No. I did. It was quite the party. It was quite the event. Nice patio, nice weather. But on that topic, it's funny to have like events, say with a workplace, but then like you like mentioned that there's like people that run the safe consumption site and they're in an office somewhere. Imagine them coming to your Christmas party.
Oh no, it'd be hands on site.
Like
I'd fucking level one of those people.
So I wonder who the equivalent to that would be. If they show up and you'd be like, all right, well, this party's over.
Yeah.
But no, I interact a lot different now when it comes to like coworkers, where I used to be like bombastic and like the table to table, like, how's it going? Cheers, let's buy a drink. Love you so much. Where now I'm just like sitting there, sunglasses on. Just,
it's
you know what I mean?
Self-preservation,
and it's not out of any like animosity, or it's not, oh, I hate the people I work with or whatever. It's like I just don't want to play no yard games. I'm too lazy. And I'm just content. People watch it, and then people are like, are you upset? And you're like, yeah, you're just like hanging out, looking around. And
so that's the thing too. It's so like working in the human industry, we'll call it, I guess, like working with people. Like I work construction and like in oil and gas, and there's not a lot of that in oil and gas.
Just have a job,
like a product.
It's black and white, where it's like you need to get from point A to point B. If you don't do this, you're fucked.
Yeah.
If you do something extremely drastic and someone fucking dies, you're fired.
Yeah.
But where you look at hospitals, I think hospitals, it is, but I think hospitals, they have like a hybrid of that, where it's like you are working with people, but it's black and white whether you give this guy the wrong dose, right? You see what I'm saying? So there's a level of like evaluation, but then you look at jails, you look at policing, where it's how much of it's just who's looking at it, right? And it just depends on what their views are. Have they like? And I think people are just genuinely susceptible to being like judgy, and if given the possibility to like fuck someone's life up, like inherently
to progress in their field.
Like I think like you give someone enough, it's gonna change them regardless. But if I push the right buttons and fed the right ego, so that's what's really fucked up, and that's why it's so dysfunctional, because it's like it's just that drive for power, and so many people like it's amusing to see someone fail, or it's amusing to see some drama or and then it becomes like a public execution. Right? But where we're putting this person on a stake to send a message. And it's like, how close is this to like a fucking drive-by?
Like, I think the reason like differentiating from like construction to whereas like jobs, careers like police, healthcare, prison, social work, addictions is like in construction, you either can't do that or you can. And if you can't, you're gonna get chirped, but hopefully like you'll learn. And most of the time it's like a friendly banter, yo, you fucking idiot, like you gotta tackle that, and eventually like they get it. Oh, congratulations, you idiot, you did it.
Or you don't.
Whereas like with like the field I'm in and like you're in, it's like a lot of our job is opinion based. Even down to the fact where it's like how you treat the clientele, no matter if you're in like an institutional setting or on the street. So it's careers of ideals. So it's you're watching someone and let's say they're too nice to the clientele, then it's, oh, they're a fucking hippie, they're a liberal, they're this, they're that. Or if they're like a
too harsh,
snap show,
they're
spaz,
a bully,
they're a super cop, RoboCop, blah, 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 blah. And it's so an opinionate, it's all valued with opinions. And then like you have to alter your behavior and your opinions to fit in with management, no matter where you are, to move up to any degree. So you got to sell yourself short. And if you don't, you're judged for it, you're looked down on, and like you said, you can get in trouble, you can be like public execution. So when you're saying like, oh, I'm just like not talking to people, I'm just like more chill, I don't think it as a negative thing. This is your how you get your money. Like you're self-preserving yourself because it's so cutthroat.
It's one of those things too where I just go, these people probably don't want to hear what I have to say. In a way,
looking past your head.
Well, and the thing is, I don't want to come off as pumping my own tires. But when someone asks me, I'll talk about UFC. I'll talk about like my dog. But there's very little things that I have knowledge outside of that because it just doesn't hit my radar. So then it looks like it's like an arrogant thing when I go, oh, did you see the fight? And they're like, oh, you don't care what I was talking about? I just don't. And again, this is where the rudeness comes out, but it's, I'm sorry, man.
You gotta be rude. It's like survival in the workplace, on the street. You gotta be rude, man. You can't be an open door to just let anyone in and pretend to care and try to form a relationship with everybody.
Well, and we were talking on the fucking patio there yesterday, and we were like, we should discuss the idea that not everybody makes it. Right?
Correct.
Right?
I tell people that and they flip the fuck out.
Right. Like, so we were having that conversation, right? And like, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh yeah. Dude. Like, I was like, fuck, man. Like, because it's true, right? Like, a lot of people have this idea everybody can be saved. Like, it happens. Like, not everybody does make it.
Yeah, the perfect example of that is Don Iveson. Mandel never had it because Mandel was a fucking G. But Iveson had it, Don Iveson, the former mayor, and then Sohi have it, and the city councilors. 0 to homelessness to 0. They don't want any fucking homeless people ever, down to 0. There's people that want to be homeless. Number one, there's a large demographic of men and women that want to be homeless.
Right.
I have had conversations with men and women, and I'm like, why don't you like apply for social housing? You're not a fentanyl user, you just smoke. The old school crowd smokes crack still, so I'm like, you just smoke crack and drink wine. Like, what the fuck?
It's not a big deal.
And they're like, why would I want a job to pay taxes, to pay car insurance?
Oh, that's so delusional.
And they're like,
that's
no,
so
because
delusional.
if you think about it, they can fucking they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yes.
They could be like, oh, I stole all the copper in Edmonton. I'm gonna go to fucking Calgary, and they'll just like fucking
think of
it's
us.
like,
Now
it's
they're
just
just
like they're
homeless
gone.
in Calgary.
So they're like, and a lot of these people had like jobs in the past. Like some of these people were like welders, iron workers, and they're like, fuck it, I'm out. So it's like the city being like zero to like homelessness down to zero. That's such a like false ideal. And then no, and it's fuck man, people are homeless every day. Some people are getting in houses, some people aren't. Like some people live in their car. The thing is like when I would tell people like they're like, oh no, like it's terrible. And like I have compassion. I'm not heartless, but it's like not everyone's gonna make it.
Yeah.
And you say that and people like flip the fuck out. It's like, dude, we can't save everybody. We can't take every single person from Ukraine or Syria and bring them here. Yeah. And no.
Yeah,
like dude, and that's it's impossible. Say like there's facets of my own life where I'm not successful where I thought I was going to be. Mm-hmm. Whether that's like a marriage or being a full-time dad or financially, and I didn't make it. Yeah. Like I'm not a homeowner and I'm 33. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I didn't make the cut. But the only way I've been able to process, in a way, finding dead bodies, seeing people die in front of me, seeing ultra violence, not everybody's gonna make it. I'm sorry. Yeah. But then you tell that to some
and they're like, how dare you? Like you're almost encouraging death. But it's like, and I'm like, people die every day. But you say like that's how the fucking world goes around. Like I step on bugs.
When it comes to this guy injected a full syringe of purple fentanyl, which like on the street, purple fentanyl is the strongest shit. That has the xylazine in it. Yeah. Even when we as staff see people cooking purple fent, we're like, fuck. No. And they die, and you're just like, not everyone's gonna make it. Yeah. And they just fucking lose their like. You just generally like liberal folk are just like, ah, and it's, hey, get off your computer chair and volunteer. Yeah. Narcanning people or at the soup kitchen then. Yeah. If you want to save everybody. And I guarantee you in 4 months they'll be like, fuck these people. They broke my rear view mirror. They broke into my car. And not everyone's going to make it. Yeah. And it's shit.
And when you say like the level of like criticism and shit where people get like upset about it. Did you have a moment? I'll give you an example for me. There was a moment where it was almost like I carried shame in like certain milestones I didn't hit. I was like, I haven't got married. I haven't 100%. Had a kid. I haven't did that. And then there was just a moment where I was just like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I don't care. Like sometimes you hit the mark, sometimes you don't. Like it is what it is. But for a while, I'd be like, fuck, man. Like, hey, I know what I mean? What the fuck am I doing wrong? But now I'm focused so much time on this. This fucking, and I look at it just like the Sims fucking meter bar. You know what I mean? Where if I focus too much on reading the books and I'm not swimming in the pool or fucking, so it's just like, it's all about balance and like you put your energy in one area and then this might drop down and maybe you pick it up, maybe you don't, maybe you let it fucking die. Who knows?
Like I used to kill myself being like, I remember being like 27 and working like every fucking day and squirreling away money. And like, I need a house. And then like things happened in my life. It didn't happen. I made a ton of mistakes, which caused them. Other people made mistakes as well. But and then I felt like a failure as a father and as a husband at the time, etc. And then now, 5+ years later, I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't buy that house, bro. Right. Like, I'm like, fuck, dude. Right. I'm like, I'm happy. My kids, my son is always fucking happy. We're humble, and I'm glad I didn't get to there because I was trying to fall under like societal norms.
What milestones, right?
I grew up, so I wanted to follow my parents' ideal, and then it was like my own parents who were like, "You don't have to get married. Yeah, like you don't have to own a house. Yeah, a lot of people rent their whole lives and are happy, and I'm like." Especially, but I thought you wanted me to be like this, and they're like, "No, we just want you to be happy." Yeah, and at their older age, they know they're like, "Man, you just." Be happy.
It's just not all it's cooked up to be. The big, like, fancy reality and I need to do this and I need to work my ass off and live at a workplace and, like, hibernate all this money.
Like, I'll tell you this for a fact. When it comes to drug trafficking experience, talking to people and seeing it, there's just as many people buying fentanyl in Windermere, Keswick, Sturgeon County, Strathcona County. There's just as many people buying fentanyl and cocaine and crystal meth and Xanax, Percocets, all that in those areas, maybe even more than in equivalent or more than the inner city.
Yeah.
And you got to look at it like this guy pushes around a cart all day, steals copper.
Yeah.
He gets his little dope. He's happy. This guy's happy as shit. This guy will give you half his sandwich.
Yeah.
There's people suffering the same addictions, and when you drive past their house, you're like, damn, they must be happy. And dude, there's a house of pain in there.
Yeah, man.
And it's so that's another thing too. Like when people want to come and see the inner city with me, I'm like, it's not gonna be negative all the time. Yeah. There is that, and that's what I alluded to yesterday. Was like, are GTA. You sure you want to see some shit?
They think they're going GTA.
You might see someone walking around with a stab wound. Hey, buddy, you want help? And he's fuck no, because he doesn't want cops involved. And you're just like, how do I process this? You might find a dead body, etc., etc. But you might go down there and hand out cigarettes and fucking cheap beers and Gator. Yeah, I buy them beer.
Yeah.
But you hand out
some
Gatorade.
People fist bumps, hanging
man,
out.
And it's chilling, man. Yeah. People want to smoke weed with you. They're chilling. They're like cracking jokes. Like, and then you can, on the other side of the coin, you can go to, let's say, a work event, a party with some wealthy people, and you're like, everyone's miserable.
Yeah,
it's like I like you have everything, and you're boring as fuck. Yeah, you're miserable. You are just watching the same reels on Instagram that are pissing you off about fucking immigration or whatever every day and getting angry. And it's like that's like the dichotomy of society that I've seen in the last decades. Or you could go drink beers with the homeless downtown. Yeah, I'm going with the fucking homeless, man. I'm sorry, fucking fun.
And I think it's where I'm trying to think of where I read this quote from or heard this kind of analogy where they say like tough times create tough men. People are like relieved of so much of adulting where it's like they have so much free time to worry about that bullshit. Yeah. It's like when a dude's genuinely like a homeless guy's drinking a beer, it's how many fucking beers is this guy going to be able to afford? You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. So they're just fucking like living it where it's they don't know what they're going to get for their next meal. They don't know what they're fucking going to sleep the next. So they're just like riding the wave where a guy that has his meal, he has a personal chef, he has a driver, he has he has an assistant.
And that's sick.
But then how much do you like, oh, now I just have free time to be a fucking idiot.
To be a douchebag.
I don't know. I looked at this fucking Hawk-Tua girl. Obviously, they found her. Her name's like Haley Welsh.
Hey, hold on. There's 98 Hawk-Tua girls.
But so this chick, I thought it was pretty cool because like she got super famous. And when you look at like the way she got famous through social media, she could have made an OnlyFans like right away. Boom, like millions of bucks. But that she like made this Instagram and she like didn't have social media beforehand. And every other time she's doing like these podcasts or something, she's like getting these huge corporations to donate a shit ton of money so she can donate that to like shelters or animal shelters. And I'm sure a good amount of it is like a psyop. Like it's corny, right? Like I'm sure like everybody's making money out of it. But the simple fact that's what you want to brand yourself as, it's respectable. Talking about spitting on a dick to now you're like buying like fucking thousands of pounds of dog food for an animal shelter, right? So like it is cool to see like the percentage of people that get to that high level. Like you look at a guy like Andre 3000, and you say he got to this level because everybody thought like he was fucking delusional. So like on the same note that not everybody makes it, it's like some of the people that do,
perseverance and shit.
And it's interesting to look at like it sucks that there's way more people not making it and fucking.
That's what I tell people like in workplaces, and they're like, this guy fucking sucks, this guy's trash. And it's but if everyone was good at their job, you'd be so fucking bored. Do you know who's all good at their job? Chartered accountants. Yeah. And it's no offense to chartered accountants, but I know some of you guys and you're bored as fuck. Yeah. So if everybody was good at their fucking job, you'd be bored as fuck. Well, so it's like the same with the world. If we had a utopian world, it's like Aldous Huxley's 1984, that's dystopian, where everything's in like control. Or it's like the other book by Aldous Huxley is fucking, what's it called? The Island, where everything's a utopia. Like it's like beautiful, but everyone's miserable.
Right.
So it's, dude, we're not ever gonna get there anyway.
And
like,
the thing
that's
is,
honestly like,
the thing is, like, the more you try, you're almost putting your attention in the wrong direction, because the more you nag at it, the shittier it's gonna get, because you're like, everybody needs to wear the same shit, and it's like, then you're just twisting people's arms, and like, people are doing it, but it's just like one of these things where it's okay if a guy wants to fucking be homeless, I guess. If a dude's gonna fucking steal a fucking TV, it's like, I can be upset to a certain degree.
It's annoying,
but it's just one of those things. That's reality, man. Some people become alcoholics and die within a year. Some people are able to live their whole life and be an alcoholic. Correct. Right? Like it, and not saying
I've met 78-year-old fentanyl users.
Right.
God bless them, man. Some of the best people. Like, they take a fucking cab to the injection site, and I gotta go outside and hold the door for them, and they come out in their walker. It's terrible. They're easing their trauma, especially like the indigenous community with residential schools. But they know the lifestyle they're in. They don't bother anybody else,
and they've accepted
it. They're just like, man, I go off opioids, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
So like, they're literally just like, they cruise in, they do their shot, they don't bother anybody, and they just carry on. Whereas like, these people, no offense to the fucking lefties, but it's like, you have this utopian thing where it's, oh man, we need to get that guy off dope, and it's like, he doesn't want to.
And
he doesn't want to go to detox.
Like,
he's like, anyway. I'm cool. Like, I'm good. And that's like a big thing that makes it easier if you're working in that field, whether it's like corrections, police, firefighting, paramedic, social work. It's not everyone wants to quit. Not everybody is going to be saved. And it's not everybody wants this ideal lifestyle that the majority of the world wants. So you have to put yourself in other people's minds and perspectives for sure.
And just and that's really interesting you said that, because it's like, you have to be like on the outside looking in, being like, is what I'm saying annoying? Like, I went to the party last night, and one chick, I was like, I haven't talked to you before. Do you not like me? And she's actually, I don't. Like, I think you're like a misogynist, like a Joe Rogan dick rider.
She said that to you?
Yeah. And I was like,
cool.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
not everyone's going to.
Yeah. I was like, hey, credit to you for having the balls to tell me. Yeah. I was like, I actually have a little bit more respect for you, even though you don't like me.
A lot of people don't like me.
Right. And but the thing is, you just have like that. You have that, like, you've been through enough to know that, okay, it could be a way fucking, I could be a way bigger dickhead. I could have just came over and punched you in the mouth.
Yeah, not anymore.
Like, people are crazy. So it's just one of those things where you're just like, I'm willing to like keep this non-confrontational, or be like super upset about it, because you just know it's not appropriate, and I have the respect for people around me.
Not everyone's going to be your friend. Not everyone's going to like you. A lot of shit that I've probably said on this podcast, people are going to be butthurt. They're going to be like, oh, you don't have empathy, or it's like you're trashing on left-wing people. You said the fucking mayor's an idiot. You said like Polivier's a goof. Like, whatever. It's like on the same note of people, and this one drives me nuts. It's like people that hate cops. This one gets me crazy. Yeah. People that fucking hate cops. All cops are bastards. George Floyd, whatever the fuck. They hate cops, and I've worked with these people, and then some shit's happening, and they're like, call the cops. And I'm like, and I've done this. I'm like, wait, you can't. And they're like, what? Why can't I call the cops? I'm like, you said all cops are bastards, and now you want their help.
Yeah.
I'm like, one or the fucking other, man. Yeah. You can't be like, fuck that whole group of people based off one event.
Yeah.
But when I'm getting attacked with a knife, help come.
Yeah.
Or you accept the whole group.
Yeah.
You can't, and like, it's like broad generalizations are like, it's super ignorant, right? In that sense. And I just want to say that. So
yeah, no, but
if you hate the cops, don't fucking phone them.
Yeah.
When you're in shit, I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I don't hate cops. Like, I don't like some of them.
Right.
And it's the same thing with gang members.
It's a personality thing. It's like a personality thing, and it's like an experience-based thing where I'm not hating you because you're a fucking brown guy. I'm hating you because you're fucking rude. And that's not every brown guy, but that could be a certain example, right? Or if you were white and you were an asshole, I don't really care what fucking color you are. Like, if you're a cool person, you're a cool person.
Correct.
But if you're an asshole, regardless of whether a racial thing could be fucking pulled out.
But to bring it on this subject matter, it's like people are like, I've had people come up to me, close friends, and they're like, how the fuck are you hanging out with these people? They're criminals. And it's not hanging out like I'm chilling on my date.
Yeah, you're like, hey,
this is
like,
work and it's volunteer. So if you're
Yeah.
trying to like look at me in that light. But it's so let's say someone who's, and this has happened, like people that are really like pro police, like Blue Lives fucking matter, hashtag, all that shit. And they're like, how are you hanging out with a gang member or like a fentanyl addict or a prostitute? And I'm like, no, because the group sucks. Yeah, like the group sucks, but like this guy's good. So I'm not gonna write off the entire group of fucking people based off like other actions. It's like with cops. It's like more left-wing people. They're like, oh, I can't believe you do this job, or you're like friends with this guy, he's a police officer, or like my dad's a cop.
Yeah.
And it's, dude, like my dad saved lives, and it's like, how do you write off an entire demographic based on mostly what's on media? You're not even dealing with it in the like real life. You're seeing this on TikTok, Instagram, CNN, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's crazy to write off a whole group of people. So it's like, when you're amongst people that are not in our stream of society, it's, yeah, there's some fucking bad people, man. You might get robbed.
Yeah.
You might get attacked. But at the same note, someone's probably gonna help you out, man. You're getting robbed, dude. Some crusty old dude's gonna be like, look at that fucking guy alone, man. You're making us. And they always say, the crazy thing about people in the community, homeless people, they always say this shit. Whenever there's a big event like a stabbing or a nurse getting attacked, there's always the people in the community that are like, you're making us look bad. Right. They know, those people on the street know that they're a subculture of society. Yeah, they're just as mad when some lady gets pushed in front of the LRT. Like, they're just as upset because they're like, I'm out here not harming anybody.
Well, and it could lead to like a policy change that like fucks over a bunch of homeless people
going into these neighborhoods and beating the fuck out of homeless people, which happens, and it does happen. Like, angry people from the suburbs come in and beat the fuck out of homeless people, but it's like you're beating up the wrong.
There's only one guy.
These guys are just sleeping, trying to get high. But there is a level of responsibility amongst a percentage of the community members.
Well, what I found crazy was like, did you ever see that video where the dude, I think it was in the US, where he was just in a truck just driving over fucking like bus shelters and shit?
Yeah, it's in LA, I think.
Yeah. You just look at that and you say, man, like the level of, like, what is going on in that person's fucking head?
Well, now he's going to be housed in social living in prison. So he's just, but it's like, and most, dude, you're not going to kill most homeless people. Fucking God bless them, dude. Those guys and girls can fall off a 4-level parkade and get up, and they're just like, ooh, what happened? Just keep going.
Yeah, well, the drugs.
Not to make it comedic, but dude, these guys and girls, if the electricity goes off, there's a solar flare, a nuclear blast, we're fucked.
Yeah,
I might be okay, but you're fucked.
Yeah. You got the homies.
They'd look up and they'd be like, there's been no electricity for 4 days.
Yeah. What?
Oh, whatever. I got my fucking propane tank. I got a generator. They're going to be fine. I used to go do Narcan response in tents, and these motherfuckers had bunk beds, televisions, like bicycle chop shop, like everything. Generators, propane tanks, barbecuing. There's dogs and shit. I'm like, some of these guys have a nicer setup than I do. They're running electricity to like Epcot Tower. Like, we're really nothing without our resource. We really would be in trouble if some shit happened.
Yeah. You want to take a quick piss break?
Sure.
Let's do piss break. Piss break. Yep. Here we are. Don't touch the dog. I don't know. What are we thinking? We had some deep conversations. I don't know.
So my summary, I guess not really summary.
Life.
So like, I gave my perspective, maybe a little bit of opinion.
Now we're going into the funny stuff.
But I guess just like a disclaimer, again, I'm not a political person. I'm not conservative. I'm not liberal. I'm not part of any organization. I solely do this like by myself for the most part now, and these things just need to get talked about. And there's a lot of people that work in the field out there every day for very low income.
Dog, man.
And they're very hardworking people. They're caring people. I think if any level of government would ever to watch this, which I don't know if they will, but
Yeah, I would hold. Yeah, if they did, that's great.
If any level of government, if any level of government would watch this, like, you need to pay people on the ground better, because the amount of shit these employees are dealing with is. I'm safer in a prison environment to say if I was like an employee at a prison, like I'm safer in a fucking prison.
No, it's
and
not.
These people are working for $16 an hour to $22 an hour. They're medical professionals, some of them. Like, they obviously get paid a bit more, but like, they don't have to be there. A lot of these people take second jobs. A lot of people genuinely give a fuck. And literally, like, the not-for-profit industry is like a fucking disaster. They do get funded millions and millions of dollars, and the issue just seems to explode, especially with harm reduction, with their whole basis of harm reduction, providing clean needles, providing a safe supply of drugs. But the overdoses are just ever increasing. Open drug use is ever so increasing. Chaos disorder is ever so decreasing under this harm reduction model. They need to pay these people that work there way better, because the transitional rate out of those jobs is insane. People come in there, they work for 2 months, they have amazing intentions, and then by the time they're gone, they're like, I hope all you addicts die. Fuck, you guys shattered all my windows, you guys slashed my tires, you guys threw a machete at me.
Yeah.
So you got to pay these people better. And again, there's like a big disconnect between the management of organizations and the street level workers. The agency that I work for even had an anti-police strategy built into their manifesto, to the point like where we would make calls for weapons offenses, pistols, fucking guns pointed at us, and the cops just would punk us off, which I understood, because they were never allowed in the building, even if someone had fucking warrants. Management's thing was like, don't let the cops in, they can't watch your surveillance video. It was anti-police rhetoric, which like, you got to create dialogue. Like, there's got to be dialogue with like street community, police, healthcare, like everybody. And to the point where we had to literally approach police and we're like, oh, we don't hate cops.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, but your management. And I'm like, I'm getting bear maced.
Yeah.
I'm getting bear maced, not the manager who lives
Yeah,
in Terwilliger.
I
It's
need
like,
your help.
So like,
respect
once
you.
we actually did have a dialogue with like some of the police there, like they would actually show up and be more attentive. But like, I don't blame cops for being like,
fuck those
fuck
guys.
them. Like, there's got to be more dialogue to like create some stability out there. And I don't think the not-for-profit kind of shelter, detox, safe injection thing is the way to go, because obviously we've all seen, being Edmontonians or anywhere in North America, like, it is not good to let people wallow in their own shit and be like, that's fine, let them be. It's no, man, like, these people need fucking help, like, whether they want it or not, they need help. I know conservatives are like looking at doing forced rehabilitation. It might work if it works for three guys or girls and 30 people fucking escape or get out and they're like back to dope. But it works for 3 people, then good. Because like what you're doing now by handing people shit and like facilitating social unrest, essentially, which we'll see in the videos that I've taken, like, that's not sane. And I don't agree with the right-wing thing where it's close everything. And I don't agree with the left-wing thing where it's like open-air drug markets. If you're going to do that, then you literally have to create like a red light district. Like they have it. Istanbul has one, like fucking Amsterdam, like Paris. If you want dope and you want to be surrounded by those people, there's an area you go to. Right. Whereas like in Edmonton and other cities in North America, it's like they're not contained. So they'll branch out. And then now Edmonton's gentrifying downtown. But it's like you're building $1 million penthouses and the fucking view is like the Hope Mission. Right. So of course there's going to be an increase in crime because you're putting like regular ass people beside people with severe mental health fucking issues and trauma. Right. Of course there's going to be an uptick in crime and like people complaining more about tents and fires and shit like that. Yeah. There's gotta be a whole different functionality to everything. It can't just be close everything, and it can't just be keep everything open. Like both sides gotta be fucking real. Spend some time down there.
It's okay. Like,
well, they come out every fucking few months. They're like, the LRT is safe, and then it's dude just got knifed for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, how about when you take the LRT? Because like the fucking LRT goes to City Hall. The stop is literally right there. So like, how about you get your ass on the train?
Yeah.
And then when you find it safe enough, you can tell everybody else it's fucking safe. So I think the politics need a bigger connection to reality. They don't live in a reality. They make such an income they don't live around in low income neighborhoods. I think maybe fucking Janice Irwin lives in Northeast, like Old Town Beverly, so like whatever, respect to her. But there needs to be more communication for sure. The courts need to actually help cops.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fucking cop lover. I've literally whatever. Things have happened between me and cops in the past. Oh, but that's an individual.
Yeah.
In a group. There's also amazing fucking police. I've literally seen firsthand a guy threaten medical staff with a pistol. By the time the cops came, he passed the gun off. His two compatriots fucking took the gun. And then the cops literally gave him a PTA and just released him down the block. It's like the guy can't just walk back over here and fucking
do it again.
Come
shoot.
We call the cops on him.
Yeah, you snitch.
But it's like, yeah, we snitch. And I'm allowed to snitch because I'm not a fucking cop hater.
Fucking right.
So, fuck. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. So
dude. I said, I think I was saying on one of the other episodes, we were talking about people's like ability to actually, some people think they're tough, and then there's actually being tough. So
yeah.
we brought like the hypothetical situation of like an active shooter and when. And you're like hit out in the store. You're hit on the store, man. I said that I would do everything to not be seen.
No.
And if something were to happen, I'd be like, where is it? I'm sucking it. Whatever you need, man. Okay. I just don't want to die.
If I'm in a situation with an active shooter, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I literally was on the floor, like stop, drop, and roll. Like,
yeah.
And the people I was in the house with, I was like, you're still on the couch? That's your fucking problem, man. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not dying. If there was some kid crying and I don't know where his parents are, I scoop him up and bring him to safety. But if you're like just some fucking dude in an affliction shirt, fuck you, buddy. You're on your own. I might grab some snacks on this.
And it was like this idea of some people think they're an actual superhero. You know what I mean? So like some people go into situations of I can heal this person.
I'll tell you.
You know what I mean? So even when you look at like the homeless population, like, how many people go in and I can change this guy's life?
Man.
Yeah, he loves smoking crack.
Yeah. Really? But like
the old people.
Public service announcement, stop the fentanol.
Smoke more crack.
Bring crack back.
Yeah.
Stop the meth. Dealers lower the prices on rock because you got to smoke more rock to get high compared to methamphetamine. Just so people can take the thing. Because crackheads, we're all fit. They could throw a newspaper fucking Edmonton sun bin across 2 lanes of traffic, and then they were good. They were never really fucking around. And I can interview an old crack dealer in a later episode if you want.
Yeah.
You can just talk about the difference, man. And that's like the thing with society too. It's back in like the 90s, early 2000s, everyone's crack. We gotta stop this crack. And the United States had a big crack epidemic. And it's now if we were to like rewind, it'd be like crack ain't shit. Now,
compared
like
to fentanyl, and then carfentanol,
and then carfentanol, W18, and then the xylazine, like the elephant tranquilizer.
And then you're just like,
what's next? Soon we're in 10 years, we're going to be like, fentanyl wasn't shit.
Okay, I don't want to, because it's still honest, but I was like, the next drug is going to be like something that's going to be like inserted anally.
That's already there, bro.
I know, but it's going to be something. It's going to be like an icicle
in your ass.
Yeah, but it's going to be. Or like something you like needle in your gums or something like that.
Seen it. Seen people inject under their tongue.
That's
so like the craziest shit I've ever seen injection wise is other than people injecting into open wounds and like vaginally and through their rectum is the jug shot. So like the jug shot.
That's
and like
crazy.
Street motherfuckers will know. Like you literally, like I've literally gone out for smokes and there's one guy holding the dude's fucking head. and then Buddy's injecting it right into his jugular vein, and like they have to hold each other down because like your mental and physical resistance to being injected with methamphetamine or fentanyl right into your jugular is so strong, and then they're like injecting, and then that high is just fucking
Right
nuts, especially
away.
methamphetamine. So like seeing it all, like seeing injections fucking everywhere between the toes, everything. A lot of loss of limbs from that shit. And so yeah, all your ideas already happening.
Oh,
It's already
everybody's
out there.
taking their drugs in the butt.
I've seen guys like yoga style, like
How
folded
many?
with their ass, and they're literally injecting, and they scream because it burns.
Mm,
And they'll literally inject into their anus. So that's
I
fun.
wonder how many times if people are like parachuting shit,
Like MDMA.
or no, I think parachuting is the wrong term. Where like they're a mule. How many times do you think it blows up in their stomach, and like how immediate would that just be immediate overdose?
Fentanyl. I think I'm not a medical professional. From what I do understand, this is mostly like an institutional thing where people are storing their drugs overnight while they sleep.
Okay, I need to just get another beer once I'm here.
By myself.
I'm gonna be 8 seconds.
Hello.
This is my last beer. What the?
And then I'm gonna jet.
Yeah.
Because I gotta do groceries and
Yeah. Okay, cool. We're here. Let's do it. Yeah, we didn't even.
All right.
Yeah.
Essentially, and so now we're gonna watch home videos. Are you recording?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
We're
So
ready.
like, disclaimer: I don't make money off this shit. And any fucking money I ever make, I'm gonna be giving it back to the community. I've spent thousands of dollars buying motherfuckers shoes, clothing, like you name it. Like drove people to hospitals, drove people to trap houses because they're gonna get robbed on their way. Like I don't give a fuck. I've literally spent thousands of fucking dollars helping people. I'd rather have someone drink a 15 case than hand sanitizer because that's a different type of drunk. So yeah, I bought that fucking girl a 15 pack. So, but like disclaimer, it's like I didn't film everything. There's a lot of tragedy, seen a lot of death. Obviously, I have fucking respect to not film people dying. Most people in the videos, you can't even really see their faces anyway.
This is just to give you a reality of what.
This is watch it, then don't have a fucking opinion about it.
This is time to click off.
Yeah, it's not disturbing to me or too much, but for some folk, apparently,
It's not even that bad.
But that's good. That means you have a good fucking. You sleep well at night.
Okay, first video. You want to give us a little bit of a background before we start?
Which one is it?
Roly poly.
Oh shit. Okay.
Well, you can.
Essentially, this is what a xylazine, fentanyl, crystal meth psychosis would look like. So paramedics did come, and I did post this, and people were like, "Why didn't you do anything?" So I did try to do something, and if you notice on the wall, it says "piss" with an arrow.
So it's
that's
rolling
like
in piss.
There's people got manners. They're like, "Don't piss here. I sit here. Piss over there."
He's just so high.
He's so high. He doesn't know where he is, and like I did approach him and touch his shoulder lightly. You don't ever like pat someone on the fucking back when they're in a situation, in a mental state like this. So it's, "Hey, buddy, are you good?" And he tried to bite me and scratch at me. He obviously didn't have a lot of physical strength because he had the opioids in him. If it was a methamphetamine psychosis, it looks way different than that. That's when they're flailing and they're chasing you and they're more violent. So I kept an eye on him. The community was also trying to help speak with him. "Hey, buddy, come on, man. You know where you are." So paramedics did come. He was like 5-point or 4-point restrained and taken away.
The panels.
And then he was released from hospital and then back to injecting the next day.
Yeah.
And it's just a repeating cycle. So like sometimes that can come from a bad dose.
Right.
Too. Super buffed out fentanyl with benzodiazepines and xylazine and pharmaceuticals like that.
A lot?
Yeah, it's pretty common. It's a cheap buffing agent, so dealers can make more money as well. But it's dangerous because benzos and xylazine don't react to naloxone. So it can be really hard to reverse those ODs when those are in there. Because the dealers obviously don't give a fuck. They're making big cash, big money. Like, they don't care. They'll put anything in your dough. Like, even cocaine, they'll put cow dewormer, baby laxative, creatine, vitamin B12 powder. Like, they'll put fucking drywall
Right.
Like the amount of times I've seen people buy like cocaine or crack cocaine and it's just fucking drywall is
Crazy.
like, yeah, they're just trying to make money. So essentially, that's what it looks like. Now, some people have told me as well the come down off fentanyl can also do that as well. Once you stop using, the come down can be very like can influence your mental health in that way, and that's where you see that contortion of your body is almost like The Exorcist fucking shit. So that's generally like that kind of cocktail, and that was like that one's a bit extreme, but you see that it's they're fighting someone or something that's not there, and that was like a common sight to see for sure, like on the street. So I think that guy's still alive, but
I don't know what
all
this
the
next
best.
video is. The paramedic getting angry.
Oh shit! So this fucking dude owes money. He's owed money forever. He's a character. He's like not an evil person, but like you owe money. It's like the bank's gonna call you when you're not paying your credit card, but the bank this time has weapons and bear mace. So bear mace is a big fucking weapon out there. You can buy it at any convenience store in any like non-franchise convenience store in Chinatown in the north side of the city. You can buy bear mace. I think it's $40 to $50 because Cabela's like you got to take a bus to Windermere or Clairview to Cabela's. So like you're not gonna go do that.
No.
But so he was bear mace later on in the video, but he just owed money. And like these guys that are not able to be identified, they're wearing masks because COVID was the best thing to ever happen for the streets.
Stole shit here.
But yeah, so he was dealt with.
It's not even a long video.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Why are you yeah, we're getting the fuck out of here.
We're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Are you filming this?
You're a replayer.
Yeah. Are you filming this?
You're the replayer.
Why are you yeah, we're getting the fuck out of here. Are you filming this?
Yeah. I can't say they're fucking rude or they're like paramedics have a super fucking hard job, man. And like when they get a call to that neighborhood, they're probably like, fuck. So I don't judge them for being like pissy, but you can hear them in the video, man. They're like, they were dealing with an assault, right? So that'll be a very commonplace thing in the ghetto is they came to deal with a severe assault, head trauma. And then while the paramedics and cops are dealing with that, there's this guy getting fucking jumped over here. And like the cops and the paramedics are just like, that's over there. Like we're doing this. So they're just like, you can hear the frustration. They're just like, let's get the fuck out of here. And then I'm filming and they're like, ah. And I'm like, yeah, but bitch, I gotta fucking stay. Like, I'm here for 12 hours every day. Like, dude, I gotta like, fuck you. I think I earned the right. And he was fine. I've paid debts for people, to be honest. What do you need? What do you need? 40 bucks?
One? Oh, this one's the jumping.
Oh, this is pretty bad.
So this one's pretty bad. This one's a viewer discretion, Inception, viewer discretion.
Yeah.
It depicts a guy that is already unconscious, semi-unconscious, continuing to get attacked. It's not good.
Welcome to the ghetto.
Fuck you, Danny.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Danny.
So this guy, we saw me and a friend of mine, good friend of mine, amazing recovery coach. He does recovery coaching. Later on, I'll post some things on him. He's really good at his job, but he's been doing this for 20 fucking years. We were like outside, we hear a commotion. We're doing outreach. So like that dude on the ground, while someone's asleep, he like jacks, because you hear the guy yell, $20 worth of down. So this fucking guy like pickpockets some dude that's way fucking bigger than him and way like has done fed time, like doesn't fuck around, goes in his pocket and takes his fentanyl. So it's like they were fucking screaming and yelling, and Buddy tries running away and gets fucking boom from behind. Maybe he was outraged, but it's also don't steal from me because everyone's watching. The hood that night, like the ghetto that night was hot. Like it was summer. So there's 200 to 300 fiends and people out on the street. So this guy's all right, like boom, like everyone's watching, like this guy stole from me. This is a warning to all you. Don't fucking steal from me.
Mm.
Now the girl, I don't know why she did it. She's just, God bless her, man.
Fuck you, Danny.
She's all good. I don't know if she's alive.
Fuck you, Danny.
I don't even know if that's her real name. But the thing is, too, it's the cops were called and paramedics were called by me. So, like, the guy that did the stomping, the large dude in the white wife beater, he fucking comes back to my work and sits on the steps. And then he starts using. So the cops come. So it was like May, June. It was like Oilers playoffs, and it's evening. And I think there's a game that night. So it's like the cops come, 2 cops. And then the paramedics are dealing with the body. And I'm like, hey, like, he's right there, the guy that assaulted him. And they don't even fucking talk to me one time. And he's just sitting there. So then I show them the video. And 2 cops are like, looks consensual to me. And I'm like, I don't have a dictionary app, so we're not going to go over that word.
But like, this guy is not living.
And that's like the point you can take it, where you can be like, fuck you, fucking pigs, fuck all fucking lazy cops, blah, blah, blah. But it's, dude, at the end of the day, I'm like, those cops might have just 2 days ago found a dead child in a car accident. I'm like, man, all right, bros, I get it. I'm like, all right, then it's all good. And the cops are like, yeah, he's going to go to the hospital. And yeah, and I'm like, buddy's good. And they're like, yeah. So then I went to talk to the guy in the white. And I was just like, hey, man, can you, like, not do that again? Like, on our property?
Yeah.
And then that was it. That was it. That's like...
All right, let's roll into... What's this one?
This is May... This is usually... I think this was May 1st or June 1st. So, like, Welfare Day, as they call it. Welfare Wednesday, the 1st of the month. So this is when people get their Alberta severely handicapped assistance. So this is the big payday. So this is generally when, like, the few days prior, because everybody's broke, and the day of, and then a few days after, because everyone has money. That's the most chaotic times out there. So especially when people are broke, like, we used to have dope dealers come by, walk through, and be like, tomorrow's fucking welfare day. If you guys don't have your fucking money, I know you're getting money. And if you don't pay up, you're fucking done. And if you're a female, like, they'll put glue in your hair so that no other dealers will sell to you, or they'll just beat the fuck out of you. So this is what welfare day looks like.
It's everywhere.
So there's, like, active fucking crime scenes. That's one block.
Right.
So you got to think, that's one block. And basically, if you could map out kind of the areas of Edmonton that have a lot of societal, like, disrupt, would be like Queen Mary Park, 107 Ave, through Central McDougall, into downtown, into Chinatown, Boyle Street, Cromdale, Alberta Avenue, Macaulay, Old Town Macaulay, like by Little Italy and things like that. Stretching from Eastwood, Westwood, down to Beacon Heights, Beverly Heights, Abbotsfield. So, like, even nowadays, since they pushed out a lot of the tent cities, now it's even a lot of the disorders, even all the way north to, like, Northgate Mall, Londonderry, Glengarry area, like even Eau Claire, like transit station. Like, I wouldn't let my son when he's 12 go catch a bus by himself. So that's a pretty large swath of, like, disorder compared to, like, European cities where they contain it to, like, certain areas. So you got to think, like, when I filmed that, it wasn't for any, like, comedic reason or anything in that, like, facetious nature of how I look at these people. It was more like, people don't see this, and this is your own city, you pay taxes. So yeah, as a taxpayer, you should be concerned, right? And that's one block.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's happening like all downtown.
In the video, there's 2 cops outside that nightclub. There's cops down that alley. A lot of people got fucking killed in that alley. And then there's cops down at the old Crack Tower. So, like, that tall white structure, that's used to be Crack Tower. I think they're gentrifying it now, advertising it to students. So
Good luck.
good for the homies robbing people.
Yeah.
Better get some laptops. But that's like multiple crime scenes, and that's like, how long is that video? 11 seconds.
Yeah.
So you just got to think of like the amplification of everything, and like a lot of this is policy. Like a lot of this stems from like lax on crime, bail, easy fucking bail for people, like closing down mental institutions and closing beds in mental hospitals. Like it's a lot of policy things. So, and my car's in that video, the Corolla,
Mm-hmm.
and my car never got touched.
Yeah.
So out of all the staff, unfortunately,
They
they
got
all
their
had their
shit
cars
fucked.
fucked up. So my operating my methodology to keeping my car safe was like the first week. I was like, I saw the RAs, like a local street gang, and I was like, you guys sell here, obviously.
Make sure
You're
no
never
one fucks with
leaving.
my
I was like,
vehicle.
you can sit on the hood of my fucking car. Sell on my car. And then like prostitutes were doing their makeup in my side mirrors, and
Yeah.
it was like a little hub. And then one girl tried reefing on my car door and opening it, and she got chased away. And I was like, yeah, like you gotta like you
You gotta be friend though.
you gotta blend in. You gotta be
Yeah.
like, hey, my car's here. Use the car, and then they like the car,
Yeah.
and then they're like, this is where we sit and chill and sell dope. Don't
Yeah.
fuck with our car, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta be creative when you're out there for sure.
Yeah, man.
Videos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do thanks.
Okay.
Okay, do the outro.
This has been a really fun 2 days. We've on and off recorded for probably a good 5 hours. Amazing time. Throughout this, we've been able to discuss maybe some future content in the coming months, what kind of things we can do for the channel, and maybe some opportunities to make a different show or see what we can do to help them with that. We would love to have them as a part of our team. We're still in the process of discussing what we're going to be doing, but you can expect to see William Constantine on this channel frequently moving forward. So with that, this was a great way to do the solo spotlight, but also see what's in the future. I really appreciate you coming on, giving me that sense of enlightenment in a way. I think when you look at like rural Nova Scotia, like there's a level of poverty, there's a level, but like the bigger you go, the intensity also follows, right? So there's a lot of things that I also was like shocked with myself. So I think this is something, like you said, that just general people need to be aware of. This isn't meant for like humor, although I'm a very like satire person. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to make jokes at that aren't really appropriate. And that's just how my brain works. It's mainly for the purpose of showing this different side of what life looks like and how people are going through that, and a realistic approach. Again, thank you, Constantine, for coming on. I hope the viewers enjoyed this interview and conversation as much as I did, and we can't wait to have you on in the future. Is there anything you would like to say?
So I'd like to say, take care of the kid. Behind every overdose, like fatality and addiction, there's usually children behind all this, and I think that's forgotten about. We see the numbers of like 1,200 ODs a year in Alberta or whatever, and it's like there's children now that are living in group homes now, in foster care, or homeless. So I think we need to focus on the children in the future and make sure those kids are okay, man, because there's a lot of children that are going to be growing up with no mother, no father, or and things like that, right? We don't want to keep this cycle continuing. So I think that's at least where I come from. The youth, it's cliche, but they're the future, right? We got to figure this out for the kids. So that's number one component. But yeah, we got to focus on those children, maybe have a little bit more empathy in that regard. But I want to say thank you to the community at large. I won't name them due to like circumstances, but they know who they are if they could ever even watch this. I love them and I wish the best for them. And like all the people that passed away too, God bless them. They're in my thoughts every day. And I want to thank people that were soldiers in the fucking trenches with me out there. Marla, Lex, Sam, Ibrahim, Khalid, Corey. Just a big thank you to those people, because without that team, it would be, you wouldn't have anyone to deal and have dark humor with, and process a lot of the traumatic things that you see out there. Thanks to the Edmonton Police Service too for fucking saving our lives here and there. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we get some more.
That is it.